Hi everybody, today I'm going to be doing a craft just for my own mind. I look online to get some inspiration and then I get ideas of my own, and that's how I do it. So I'm trying to give you some light here. What I did was, I have a kit that I got from Panda Hall, and it's in one of my videos where I do a review, an unboxing and a review. So there's different shapes and earrings, but they can be used for other things. So here's one of the shapes. I've made a necklace from this before, and I did a tutorial, and I also gave it away on one of my giveaways. So I'm going to be using that. Now these are earrings also in the kit, and they give you 3 pairs of earrings, so you get 6 of these shapes. But there's a ring on each end so that you can hook things. So I'm going to use that kind of like over here, and with some chain. I haven't decided thin silver chain or thick silver chain with beads. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to place something right here. Now for a frame, I'm using one of these. They come like this, and you get them on Halloween. They're considered stickers. They have like a adhesive, which this one's falling off, and like little different skull cameo. Okay. And what I did was I took a scissor, or you could take any sharp object, and I picked the clear plastic sticker, this with the skull head, off, so that I can either paint or affix a bead or something to it. Now I've done that before in one of my chokers. I believe I did show it on one of my tutorials. So if you look at my jewelry tutorial playlist, it'll be there. If not, I'll do a follow-up and update video and I'll have that. But right now it took me a while, because what I do is I look online for inspiration. Pinterest is good for that, or you could just go on a search in Google or any search engine and put different type of necklaces that you'd like, or just jewelry. Okay, but I don't copy. It gives me inspiration, and then I go forward and make my own. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I was going to find a bead, but I don't have a bead or a cabochon that will fit this. So I'm going to paint it with some black nail polish and some black glitter nail polish. Then I have these different teardrop beads, big and small, and I'm going to hang it, and I'm going to attach some black beads and chain, so it's going to come together nicely. Put that here because I'm going to paint it and then it's going to dry. Now you can put a cabochon in, or you could just get a cabochon that's already in some kind of a frame. Now what I'm doing is I'm just using the stuff that I have, because right now buying new crafts isn't really in the budget. So I have to work with what I have. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to get this as close as possible, and I'm trying to get as best lighting. So right now I'm going to take this, I don't know if I have enough of this nail polish, and I'm going to paint the inside. Luckily it has a very thin brush. Okay, so I've painted it, and I'm gonna let it dry. Now if it dries too flat, I'm gonna add like a thick glossy clear nail polish to it. Now it does have a lot of glitter, can you see that? So I'm gonna let that dry somewhere safe. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you that I have this and these pieces. Now I'm not sure if I'm going to use a thin chain like this to attach things, or if I'm going to use my thicker chain. I haven't decided yet, so I'm still thinking about that. I do know is that when I'm done with the one that's painted, this is the way it looks like before I remove the inlay of the cameo, and I'm going to glue it with E6000 jewelry glue to the center like that. Now if you like these, you can make like a gothic Victorian choker with like a skull cameo, but Halloween's over and I'm really not going to wear it. I want something I can wear all year round instead of just for Halloween. Or I'm really not into, like, I like some gothic chokers, but I might have worn this years ago. But I want something more fancy. So that's why I'm not using that. Now these are great. I got them. You can get them at anywhere, like a Michael's. I believe I got these at Hobby Lobby. I'm not sure. It was either Michael's or Hobby Lobby, but they still have them, and they have them online too on eBay and Amazon. And I'm going to attach a big bead like that, and then I'm going to get some little teardrop black beads. But for here and here, I'm really not sure. I don't want this to hang too long. So I am probably going to look for chain that I can attach to these part up top, and then over here would be another piece of chain. Okay, so what I did was, this is going to go around my neck, and so I used a 6mm jump ring. Ideally I would have liked a 4mm, but I don't have that in silver. I only have 6mm. I used a really thin chain, not one of the ones that I had before. And this is about, I'm going to measure, it's about 7 inches, the chain. And then with the jump ring attached. It's about, let me see, with the jump ring, it's a 7 inches, and without it, it's a little bit under 7 inches. So, but everybody's neck is different. So, for me, that's the way it is. And I'm going to cut one the same length for the other one. And then I'm going to do some beads. So now I have these two pieces attached to about 7-inch chain. What I'm going to do, now I might make it a little shorter and I might make it a little longer, I don't know. But because it might get longer once I add a jump ring and then the jump ring and a clasp on one end. So that's what I'm going to do after. But right now I'm going to see how that's going to sit like this. Now, what I'm going to do then is I'm going to get this center piece, but I want to attach some beads to it. Now I'm not really sure the colors. It might be black and silver beads. And what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to take some jewelry wire and I'm going to put it through and make 2 loops on either end and then attach it with my jump rings. Now I would have used 4mm, but I only had the 6mm in silver. If you're going to do something like this and you're going to use that kit, then I would suggest you have both 4 and 6mm. I like to have those two, and you can get these at Hobby Lobby. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like. I'm going to have one of these beads, one of these. They're like octagon shape, see? Then I have these. They're flat in a way. So one of them is going to be attached, then that, then another one, then that, and then another one, and then it's going to be attached to here. So I might shorten the chain, and that's why I didn't hook the last jump ring and then another jump ring and a clasp. Okay, so far what I've done was I had to cut the chain a little because it was longer because I added some of the beads. Now, that's what it's going to look like. The chain, I have a jump ring, chain, a jump ring, and one of my fixtures, and then another jump ring, And then I did beads. And what I used was eye pins. These are eye pins, if you're not sure. They have a little loop at the end. So I ran my bead in there. I cut the excess off, and then I made another loop, similar to the one that's already on there. And it was easier than messing around with my piece of wire. This is a thinner wire, and it worked out better for me. But you can do it either way, with your own wire or with an eye pin. You will have to make a loop on the other side. And that's what I did. I ran it through. I made a loop on the two sides. There's a jump ring, and then there's another one. Now this was going to be longer, but I decided to just do the two silver beads and the one black one in the middle. Okay, so that's what that looked like. And then I attached it here. Now this one I already put the clasp on, the jump ring and a clasp, another jump ring in the fixture, then another jump ring, and you'll have that bead. And then I'm going to put another silver one here, and then another jump ring. Then I'm going to go to the mirror and see how it sits. And I'm going to open the jump ring that's attached to the beads that I already threaded through. And I'm only going over this step because I went ahead and did that step just to show you what it's going to look like. And I know you want to see the process, so that's why I'm doing this. So now I'm going to put that loop here, and I'm going to close my jump ring. Wait till you hear that click. See? And then make sure it's closed. I always say that because that's the biggest problem with jump ring. They open up and then everything falls apart. Okay, so now I'm going to take another jump ring and attach one end to this loop and the other end just like that one. Okay, so I've gone ahead and finished up the sides. I didn't need as many beads because it was too busy, too long, too many beads, so I really didn't need all the extra beading that I was going to use. Look, this is what it's going to look like, and I'm going to go to the mirror and see if it's sitting the way I want before I attach the other things to it. Okay, so I went in the mirror and I like the way it's sitting. It's sitting perfectly. I don't need it any longer. I don't need it any shorter. But again, it's your preference. If you like it a little longer, you can make it a little longer. I happen to like the way it sits. Okay, so now I'm going to check the piece that I painted, and that's what it looks like. It's kind of glittery. I might go ahead and add something to that later. I was thinking of putting that in the center and gluing it with some E6000 glue. Make it look like a nice piece. And then I'm going to add like some clear nail polish to give it a glossy look. But I'm not sure right now. So let's see what we got here. So that's hanging nicely. Just how I wanted it to do. And that's what it's going to look like. Now, these ones, I'm probably going to hang one here and one here. Now, you could also hang a piece of chain and have it, but I like it like that. So I'm going to go ahead and get some jump rings. I don't think I need a third one. Look how that will look. Now, the last piece is the piece that I wanted to glue to the center. Okay, so what I did was I decided to add one of my resin cabochons onto the frame instead. I didn't like that flat look. Now you could of course leave it like this, but I like a little extra. So I'm going to put it on here since I'm going to glue it. And I'm going to make sure it's going to sit flat, and I'm going to determine which end I want up and which end I want down. So I think I'm going to go like that, and I want it to sit nice and flat. I'm going to get E6000 clear jewelry glue. You want it to sit upright because it tends to drip everywhere where I want it. For this jewelry glue to cure. And then when it's done, you can go ahead and clean up any excess on the back with a Q-tip and some rubbing alcohol. So right now, I'm just going to let that sit and dry. I'm going to make sure though it's exactly the way I want it to sit. Only because you do have about 20 minutes to mess around with it before it starts to set. So I'm going to show you what it looks like on. So there you go. That's how it's going to sit. It's not too low because then it would get lost in my cleavage. It's not too high because otherwise it would be more of a choker. And it sits just like that. And like I said, you don't have to use a centerpiece for it. You could just have the filigree itself, but it adds something to it. And I show you how to make these in my 3-part how to make resin series of videos. It's in my jewelry tutorial playlist. So if you're interested in doing something like that, you can. And I showed you the frame that it was put on, but you can use any kind of pendant frame for it. See, everything came in that kit. These were considered earrings or whatever, and it's all from that kit from Panda Hall. And I will try to put the links below for that, as well as the links for my 3-part video on doing resin. Okay, now you could use any kind of bead or anything you want on there, like I said. And I like this. I can make one in red, purple, green. I chose black. I like the way it looks. So just a little chain, some jump rings, some beads, some eye pins, and these filigree pieces from the kit from Panda Hall. And you've got a nice necklace, and I really like it. I'm very happy with it. I really like it. I'm very happy with the way it sits and the design and how it came out. I'm going to be wearing this a lot. Again, look at the links below in this video in the description box and go check it out. Maybe you'll want to make one for yourself. It's really easy to do and it doesn't take much time at all. Again, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my videos. Bye!